what am I going to do? What am I going to do? These guys are going to kill me. And so I pretended I went crazy. And so I started going crazy and speaking, I guess, in kind of a version of tongues.
Wow.
And there were ash cans throwing around, and I scared them away. And that was my first memorable performance.
Wow.
So without further ado, let's beam them up. Our first guest is an actress whose roles include Dark Angel, Torchwood, and Family Guy. Today, she joins us to discuss her role as Colonel Kira Nerys. Please welcome back to the GalaxyCon virtual stage, Nana Visitor.
Hi, Patty.
Hey, Nana, how are you?
I'm really good.
So good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I am well here in Orlando. The two hurricanes kind of sidelined us, so but we're still in season. But for a Floridian, this is what you deal with.
Good Lord, stay safe.
Absolutely. Well, I have plenty of hot sauce recipes that I've just heard about. You're going to be looking into, so we may get more into that. Our next guest is an actor whose body of work includes Dirty Harry, Charlie Barrett, and Hellraiser. Today, he joins us to talk about his role as the former member of the Cardassian Obsidian Order, a humble tailor, Elam Garak. Please welcome Andrew Robinson.
Hi, Patty. How you doing?
I am so good, Andrew. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm not in hurricanes or anything, just heat waves and forest fires.
I just, it's something about other coasts. We got a lot of advantages, and then there's the downsides.
That always.
Absolutely. Now, you had showed us a little friend before, so why don't we just get it out of the way and show you.
Oh, you want me to show you my little friend?
Show you your friend.
This is from a Scottish fan who, celebrated Garak as the tailor. And I rather love this guy. He's, really sweet. And he did a great job with the sewing machine.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a classic singer that
my mother had and still has one of those. So I think he even put the foot control on it. So that's
right. You noticed that. Good eyes.
Well, I tried. Our next guest, she is an actress and singer whose credits include The Flash, Fist of the North Star, and Pandora. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of former Dabo girl turned First Lady of the Ferengi Alliance, Leeta. Please welcome Chase Masterson.
Hey, Patty. Thank you so much. It's great to see you. And hi, Nana and Andy and everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
Be here. How are you?
Well, we are so glad to have you here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. How are you doing?
Great, holding up. Grateful that I'm in a situation where I'm safe, and hoping that everyone else out there is too.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like your signal is broadcasting from the Delta Quadrant through the wormholes. So, like I said, but we're gonna make through with it. The important thing is that we can hear you.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yes,
all right
absolutely.
then.
So we will get through this. No problem.
It's raining right now. That's probably why. So.
Our next guest is an actor whose body of work includes Beauty and the Beast, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and author of the Merchant Prince series. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of the owner of Quark's Bar, Grill, Gaming House, and Holosuite Arcade. Please welcome back to the GalaxyCon virtual stage, Armin Shimerman.
Hi there. How you doing, Patty? Hello, everybody.
Hey. Great, sir. How are you holding up?
I'm holding this up, actually. I've got the same thing that Andy has. Made for me by one of the artisans in the Noise Within, the theater in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Isn't that great? She did great work. Great work.
Absolutely. As you certainly did as well, but we'll get into that in a bit. Our next guest, she is an actress and model whose work includes Back to School, Paper Dolls, and Becker. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of Lieutenant Commander Jadzia Dax. Please welcome Terry Farrell, a.k.a. Miss Nimoy.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, Nana, Andy,
Hey.
Armin.
Oh, my God.
It's been like, what, a day? Hi, Patty. Nice to see you.
Good to see you again. How are you holding up?
Actually, really good. Really good, surprisingly. I mean, there's peaks and valleys to this whole COVID thing, but it's sunny and really nice today, so that helps. Yeah.
Well, any good day is a great day nowadays.
It's true.
And finally, he is an actor and director whose body of work includes Game of Thrones, Gotham, and The Spy. Today he joins us to talk about the role of Dr. Julian Bashir. Please welcome back to the GalaxyCon virtual stage, Alexander Siddig.
Hi, thank you very much, Paddy. Lovely introduction. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hey.
Good to see you, sir. How are you holding up in your corner of the world?
Very well, thank you. Given the situation in everyone's corner of the world, the weather's lovely, which makes me happy every day.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so happy to have you all here on our virtual stage. As always, we miss having you in person, and we look forward to the day when we can go back to our physical shows and putting you on our stages back in front of your fans. But until this day, we have this forum, and right now our team is going through a chat room and pulling out questions. In the meantime, I would love to hear how Deep Space Nine began for each of you. I asked you some of that before. We have some new faces here. I'd like to hear their stories. So, Nana, why don't you start us off?
It started with a script being delivered during the very busy pilot season, and it was thick, it was huge. And I read it, and it was Major Kira, and I read it and I went, you made a mistake. This is a man's role. It's not from, and they went, no, it isn't. They want a female. And I just, all my focus just went boom. I loved this role. I wanted it so badly. I'd given birth 3 months before, so it was an effort to get myself physically there. But and then it was quick. It was a couple of auditions, and boom, life changed. Life changed.
It certainly did.
Yep.
Andrew, how about you?
Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, I've never had a role where everything in my life just went upside down. And after, I started out auditioning for Odo, which, I've told the story many times, didn't get it. The right guy got it. But I had to go in many times. It was a pain in the ass process. I think I went in 3 times. And then, when I didn't get it, then they came back and said, could you come in and read for a role? And I thought, oh, Jesus, I was in there. I camped out in your waiting room for weeks. So I didn't want to go. And Irene made me go. And what was that? Somebody just screamed.
It's quick.
Anyway, it's my neighborhood. People are constantly screaming in my neighborhoods, But yeah, then I got this role, and it really did. It changed my life. It changed my career. Changed everything.
Absolutely. And Chase, how did this begin for you?
I was fairly new in town and didn't know anyone, so I made it a point to do some of these pay-to-meet showcases. And I had been in a class with Jonathan Del Arco and Garrett Wong. And of course, neither Garrett or I were on the show yet, but Jonathan would come to this class and he would tell people about being on Next Gen. And I thought, what a wonderful show that is, first of all. And then he would talk about getting to meet the people that make the show possible in the long run, make Star Trek what it is, the fans, and or many of them. And I thought, what an incredible show. That's the show I want to be on. So I made it a point to meet Ron Surma in one of these pay-to-meet casting showcases. He called me in for a role which was opposite Jake, and I didn't get it. But then they wrote the role of Leeta for me, and I'm eternally grateful. That's a crazy kind of Hollywood story that just doesn't generally happen, but I am so grateful.
And you're one of those almost ancillary characters that still had a wonderful arc and still sort of built up. Did they sort of give you any indication of that up front, that we have plans for her, or was it just, okay? Well,
no, I thought it was just those 4 lines in one episode where Leeta was flirting with Bashir, or not really flirting, but smarter than flirting, actually saying, I'd like to see you. And I didn't know that I was going to have any more episodes. I just thought it was that one episode until they called me for wardrobe for Facets, and I got to play one of Dax's hosts. So it was really an interesting trajectory there. And then with Bar Association, it seemed that they were forming an arc, and it was during Bar Association that they decided Leeta and Rom would get together. So.
Very nice, very nice. Speaking of flirts, Sid, how'd this begin for you?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that, but
your character, your character.
the hopelessly unsuccessful flirt.
And he was. God bless him.
It was very simple. My agent called me and said, do you want to do some Star Trek? And I thought, well, yeah, sure. And it was a very easy audition because, as far as I remember it, all I had to say was no, and I just listened to the other person talk, which was Nerys in my audition. And so I went along to the casting and said no as well as I could. And then they called back and said, they wanted you in America to go and audition there. And I went, wow, okay. And they got me not quite business class, but the one below business class ticket. And that was total novelty in my life. So I went to America and I said no again. And they gave me the
Oh, you knew how to play it, baby.
It's true.
Hard to get.
No.
Sometimes it's one.
See, I wish I had known that. Oh my God.
That no got you a lot of yes.
Yeah.
Well, as we all know, for actors, listening is one of the biggest things that you can do well or not well. And to listen well, I mean, you really can tell the grit of an actor from that.
That's true.
Yeah.
You see?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Terry, how about you?
I talked all the time. I didn't listen at all. No, it's true. I actually got that same pilot season, got the part of the cat in Red Door, and then that didn't go. And by the very end of their filming of the pilot of Deep Space, they still hadn't cast the character of Dax. So I read for it several times, and I got it, and I couldn't believe I got it. I just it too turned. I lost 10 pounds during the process of it. My whole life was upside down. I ran lines with Marina Sirtis. I wanted it so badly, and I felt like I was spewing sweat. I was so nervous during the whole process. On top of the fact that it was summer and just ridiculously hot in Los Angeles anyway. But I went down to the set to visit Marina and Michael and Jonathan Frakes. And Jonathan Frakes and I had done Paper Dolls together in '84. That was my first job. And so when I got down to say hi to them at Planet Hell, a golf cart came up to me, and I was dressed like, a 1998 version of a 6 foot tall Madonna. I had on a corset and, big fake boobs, and my hair was out because Marina helped dress me. And they called me up to the office and they said, and I thought, oh my God, they're going to make me read again. I can't do it. And they said, and you've got it. And then I just started crying. I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm on Star Trek. It was my favorite show when I was like 6. So it kind of blew my mind. And I don't think I slept the first year. I was so overwhelmed by all of it. And it changed my life for sure. And I'm always trying to be more like Dax.
Out of curiosity, how much at the beginning, what was it like trying to decide, since the character was the fusion of two characters, what was it like trying to find that balance?
Well, the truth was they didn't really know what they wanted exactly. I mean, the last note I got was, we want you to be like Grace Kelly and Yoda. And that was probably the funniest one they said that stood out to me. But they gave me so many notes I felt painted into a corner. And I worked with an acting coach because I'm sure they could see that they totally confused me. And she was like, just, you're on the right track. What you really need is someone to run lines with you and just play within the scene, not don't worry about Yoda, don't worry about Grace Kelly, just play within the scene. And remarkable note, yeah. And that helped. It just helped everything make sense. And then they started to know what to write for. Everything was slow, and there were so many of us. It wasn't like there weren't enough storylines or enough actors to try to, define and explain, and it wasn't like all the weight was on my shoulders. So that helped.
Well, to your absolute credit, you found the balance and you found the tone. And from that, obviously, on the writing side of it, they had a North Star to write your character towards.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you. And then they gave me so many cool things to do. I was really lucky. Yeah, they did.
Absolutely. So, Armin, this begin for you. Technically, maybe back in the next gen days.
Yes. Before I go any further, I've been listening, and a lot of it has been wiped out by pixelation. So if I'm pixelating or if I don't answer right away, it's because I didn't quite hear what you said. But I did hear your question, Patty. It did start on TNG. I started out, I heard a number of people say that they auditioned for things and didn't get it. Unfortunately for me, I auditioned for something and did get it. And that was the original Ferengi on TNG. And the only reason why I was unfortunate is because my performance was god-awful. And I spent most of Deep Space Nine trying to eradicate that performance from everyone's mind for the 7 years that I was on Deep Space Nine. I didn't get the note about Grace Kelly, Terry, but I got some other notes. Mainly on TNG, I used what Berman called a voice. And in that first episode, I said in what did I say? I love a woman in uniform, which was the voice I used on TNG. One of the things that made that performance so incredibly bad. And Berman said to me, lose the voice. So if you ever see the first episode of Deep Space Nine, you'll see that Quark has a different voice than he does on all the episodes that follow it.
Wow.
Interesting. And last time, I really enjoyed the story you shared with us about how you actually sat down early on with the writers and asked, how smart is this character, to sort of get inside the head to figure out how cunning or how conniving he was.
Yeah, I was always uncertain about how, Terry was mentioning about notes, and I would have envied the opportunity to have gotten as many notes as she did. I did have a teacher as well. Her name is Kitty Swink, and she worked with me day in and day out. But I was never sure where this character fell in the IQ spectrum, and I was always asking, how smart is he? Because if we had a Quark episode, he'd be very smart. And if we were having a Kira episode, he was very dumb. So I didn't know where he fell. Eventually, like the others found out, we all got wonderful stories that we got to work on and put our best talents to.
Absolutely. And I think over the successful seasons, there's a run, it definitely showed this too. And again, as a Star Trek fan, thank you, all of you, for your contributions to this series. And it really resonates in fandom. And you guys knocked it out of the park. As actors and everybody creatively behind the scene, you created a legacy.
Well, we couldn't have done anything without the writers. We are the mouthpieces for the writers, and the stories and the dialogue that the writers came up with were just extraordinary. We're very lucky to have the writing team that we had.
Absolutely, and it never became non-Star Trekky. It pushed the envelope. But it was just, they pushed the envelope with the war and stuff, but it never lost sight of Roddenberry's vision of a better tomorrow, and how it could be fragile, and how it had to be earned and built for. So we got questions from our audience. So let's go ahead and roll our first one, and this comes from Sandra, who wants to know: did you pick up any new skills during the? And I'll expand this out words, or did you revisit any old skills or hobbies? Andrew, why don't you start us off?
I'm sorry, God, you would have to. Listen, this is the thing about this whole thing. I've been struggling with this, and I've been struggling with this whole, pandemic and the sequestration in a way that surprised me. I didn't think I was struggling with it. And you know, but the stress of what's going on all levels, and being at my age, Irene and I both being sort of like on the elder side of things, it's been hard. It's been hard for me to focus and to concentrate. I thought I'd get a lot of writing done, and I actually had started something. I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to just breeze through this like, you know, shit through a goose, and it just and you know, and even reading. I mean, I did get through some great books, you know, but very few of them. I thought I'd finish a stack of at least 30, you know, by now, but I haven't. So it's been tough. It's been tough. New skills, and but I will say there is a new skill that I'm learning. I'm kind of learning. I'm a little bit of patience. I'm moving slower. I am kind of thinking before I shoot my mouth off, and I think in a way I'm becoming a kinder person, a little more empathetic and a little more understanding, especially in terms of Black Lives Matter. I had an experience with former students at USC, students of color, and it was an eye opener for me. So that's been worth it all.
All right, outstanding. Thank you for sharing that. Chase, how about you?
I'm grateful to have had a lot to work on during the pandemic, and again, grateful to be safe. In March, I realized the incredible mental health toll that this was going to take on people worldwide. So in 2013, I'd founded Pop Culture Hero Coalition, which teaches mental health and ending bullying, racism, misogyny, LGBTQ+ bullying, and other forms of hate. And that's tied into mental health. So in March, when I realized that this was going to be a second pandemic of mental health issues, depression, anxiety, loneliness, fear, I gathered our team and we said, let's take the work that we do in schools and adapt it for people at home. So we created the Heroic Journey at Home. The program in schools is called the Heroic Journey. This is the Heroic Journey at Home, mental health during COVID-19. And it has some incredible exercises and lesson plans and coping skills, basically, called Resilience is My Superpower. And when social distancing becomes social isolation, and managing family conflict. And then it goes into work on identity and what forms a healthy identity versus the kind of things that we let get inside us, like shame and fear. And so I'm really grateful that we were able to put this out beginning in March. It actually happened very quickly, came out in April, and we've translated it now into Spanish, German, and Italian, because obviously the pandemic is affecting people everywhere. And we've also created a series of videos, including done some work creating mental health for YMCA with Dr. Rita Walker, who is the head of, she's the author of The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health, which addresses the Black Lives Matter movement and how Black communities can have mental health during this incredibly difficult time. So it's been busy.
Chase, thank you. Seriously, thank you for spending time and devoting yourself to such a great cause.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank our team, because we have an incredible team, and people here have been, you guys, our cast has been so beautifully supportive. Terry, you carry our flag so highly, and this is for mental health and justice, and Nana, everybody had been so beautiful to do this t-shirt campaign we have. And I just want to say it really does take a village to make this kind of justice and empathy happen.
And what's how do we learn more about this? What's the website?
Thank you. I don't mean to go on, but it's
no.
popculturehero.org, and we're at Superhero IRL on social media.
Okay, I'll ask Jude, our producer, if we can intermittently run that at the bottom for everybody's reference.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Sid, how about you? What kind of new skills have you picked up? Now we know you've been playing with your smoker.
Flirting.
Yeah.
Flirting. My wife thinks I should flirt more. With
her.
Really, I hope so.
It's I'm a bit like Andy, you know. If I picked up anything, it's a slightly deeper understanding of what's going on, and what I'm not very good at, what I haven't been very good at, by talking to lots of people. So I've been lucky enough to talk to lots of people, and I'm a bit closer to understanding how to not just empathize with a bunch of people I'd never really paid a second thought to in the various different neurally diverse communities. But I've actually had to talk to them and remember what their personal pronoun is and things like that, which people are quite right to be serious about. And it's just unusual for me because I'm of an age that I just didn't grow up having, just him, her, that was it. There were gay guys or queers, as they were called back in the 60s and 70s. And now my horizon has expanded enormously, and because I'm directly talking to people of all different stripes, and that's been a real privilege.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So, Terry, how about you?
Oh, wow. Actually, I thought I was handling it really well too. And I found that I was kind of micro cleaning the house, and I suddenly started like making everything from scratch. The plus side to that is I learned how to make sourdough, which there's definitely a learning curve to. And Nana has been my guinea pig.
It is unbelievable bread.
Wow.
She could go into the business.
Wow.
It's so good.
And coming from Nana, you guys all know that's huge.
It's great.
I like a good sourdough.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
hot fudge sauce, that's another
Really?
winner.
Oh,
winner.
yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
You're an incredible cook.
Thank you.
Mm.
Okay. What I'm learning though, besides have way too much time to do lots of therapy, is to slow down. My natural way of moving through the world is like a Energizer bunny. I go until I drop. And I'm learning to take much better care of myself. I'm learning to stick up for myself, even in terms of just asking for help around the house. And that's something that used to be really scary for me. I know that must sound really crazy coming from someone who played Dax, but it's been a very interesting and transformative time. And actually Nana has been super supportive of me, and I don't want to get too choked up, but I don't know how I would do it without her support, because she is such a great example of someone who's taken the journey herself, and she's helping me so much. And I have a great team of people helping me too, but that has been my mental health, putting it in action to slow down. When I start to feel like I'm spinning and I'm doing too much, stop, go outside, just take a minute, meditate. So I'm trying to put all of those things into action. And I really, at first I was thinking, oh no, if this only lasts 3 months, I don't think it's enough time for me to change, to, oh my God, this is never going to end, to slow down one day at a time. But it's just interesting, this journey of COVID and the pandemic, and gratefully, honestly, all this stuff happening with Black Lives Matter. It's something that has been in my family for a very long time. I have a mixed race family. I also have a mixed gender identity family. So I feel very blessed that those things feel quite normal to me. When my niece was young, I got people treating me differently because they thought she was my daughter, and it made me very protective and super angry about it. So getting to play the wife of Dax, playing the wife of Worf, felt very much like I was honoring my family in that situation. So that was like such a great thing. But in terms of that, still, all of this has made me realize I'm still in a bubble. I don't have to think about voting. I don't have to think about if people are looking at me like my credit card's not going to go through, because if something happens, no one looks at me. I don't feel shame about it. It's like, oh, wait a minute, let me try a different one. I don't have anyone treating me like I'm less than. And so, yeah, it's just another way to consider that we have to stand up for people and really make a difference, that we're all equal, and none of us are equal until we're all equal. And we have to shut down people that divide us.
Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Armin, how about you? Armin, you're on mute.
Before I answer that question, am I on mute now?
Yes.
Okay. Before I answer that question,
Yeah.
Terry, that was the wisest things I've ever heard, not only from you, but from me. Thank you.
For me, actually, yeah, I'm growing up, Armin, slowly but surely.
That I wish everybody had heard that around the world. That was really quite.
Thank you.
For myself, I am living in a bubble, as Terry mentioned earlier. I've been very lucky. I have a lot of projects that keep me very busy. I rarely even notice at times that I have to stay at home because I want to stay at home. I've been writing. I've been teaching. I've been keeping our theater open, helping Kitty with that. And also, bizarrely enough, after 27 years, I'm actually using my pool to swim in. So, but the understanding of how I am, and I can't put into words the way Terry just did. The understanding of that has been a revelation. I always knew I was lucky, but I'm every day when I watch the news, and I do a lot of that now. I watch the news a great deal, and all kinds of news, not just MSNBC, but also Fox, to keep in touch with what everybody is saying. And it is a learning process for all of us as we face this new reality. As science fiction actors, we were constantly asked to face a new reality, but now as human beings, we have to do it for real.
Agreed. Thank you for sharing that. Nana, want to bring us home?
Sure. I new things. So I toggle between a few things. I like to groom my standard poodles into different shapes. Some people might find that offensive to the dogs. I believe they love it. I strongly believe they like being turned into lions and ponies sometimes, and other shapes others. But it's a bonding experience for them. So I do that. I have at least 3 I'm fascinated by neuroscience. I'm fascinated by what we've just learned about how our brains work. So I've usually got 3 books. I have 3 books right now that I'm going through, and I take notes and I study, and it's just my own little study course. I took the Yale course, which I really recommend to people. That's free online. It's basically the neuroscience of happiness, and that was a great experience. And I got a ballet bar, and I put it on my wall. And of course, for 25, 30 years, I studied with my mother. I studied ballet with my mother. And so it's in my brain so heavily. And this is the first time I've done this in all these years, but I've gone back to the discipline of the ballet bar. And it's amazing because it's almost like a meditation where I hear my mother's corrections to me. There were so many days, 5 days a week, so many years of taking class with her. I can hear her, and it's become a meditation and a way for me to connect to my body, but also this woman that I adored, this teacher who was so important to me. And I share that time with her. I hear her voice very clearly. And I listen to it. It's like, now feel the string on top of your head. All the things that she used to tell me. So I'm doing that too. So A little bit of everything.
Indeed, certainly is. Sandra, thank you. That's a great question to start us off with. And I'll remind our audience, if you would like to chat with our panelists like I am now or purchase an autograph, please sign up at GalaxyCon.com and I'll ask for another question. And this comes from #1 Trek fan, who is a dear friend of ours. She comes to all of our Trek panels. What's your favorite thing to do with each other when you get together?
I can answer that really very quickly for me anyway. Is
Go ahead.
catch up, as we're doing now, to catch up. When I get together with all my friends and peers from Star Trek, catching up, finding out what they're doing, just listening to what I've just heard in the last 20 minutes. That's my favorite thing that I do.
That's it. That's really it.
Sid flirts.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is my favorite thing to do.
Favorite Barnard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I created a meme about you. My bad.
Oh my God.
Whatever, one Trek fan. That is, yeah, that works. All right, let's roll another one. And this comes from Swear Engine. What's your most memorable performance? And this expands to anything in your repertoire. What do you say? Sid, why don't you go first?
It's difficult to state your own memorable performance because it's someone else.
It is. It's so
Well,
exactly.
not necessarily like the best, but maybe just one that you just you felt good about, or something crazy or wonderful happened.
Second job, my first job on screen is a television show called The Big Battalions, many moons ago in '91, I think. And what was memorable about it was we shot in Jerusalem and in Mecca, and I got the job because I have a Muslim name, and that allows me access to Mecca, and they needed someone to go there. So.
Wow. Yeah.
And I remember shooting on top of the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, looking down at the people praying below me. I was sitting on there with my legs dangling off it and doing a scene. And I remember being in Mecca just during the Russian invasion of Afghanistan with all these mujahideen there with bandoliers of bullets. And I was petrified. And we had to shave all the hair on our body just to show that we were in earnest doing this thing called Umrah, which was a mini Hajj, if you like, a mini version of Hajj, and that's still to this day, my most memorable job.
Oh,
may I say something? Our son Django just the other day was talking about your performance at the Old Globe that he saw. And he said how blown away he was by your performance. So,
Sid, what did you do at the Old Globe?
We did a new play called what was it called? I can't remember. But I played Salahuddin, and it was a live piece, obviously, and it spanned a couple of hundred years about the Crusades and what they mean politically. Wow. And
when did you do this? When did you?
Oh my gosh!
2015.
This is a while ago.
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago.
Because Max and Brian and I were there, and we were going to come by and see you. You were rehearsing. I was there for the London Film and Comic Con, and you were rehearsing.
It was an amazing experience working in the Globe Theatre because, as you know, they recreated it to be exactly the same as Shakespeare's, with no lighting, no gadgetry, and there is one spot on stage. You have to be very careful as you turn around. You have to start speaking louder so that people can hear you, which is a normal stage technique. But this is particularly pronounced. But there is a sweet spot right in the middle of the front of the stage where you can just whisper as quietly as you like, and all 600-700 people can hear you. It's just
wow.
Yeah.
And that was Sid's spot.
I kept aiming for that. I would push people off that spot to get to that spot.
Very nice. Terry, how about you?
Oh my gosh. Most memorable. That's such a hard question not to think about.
I can come back to you if you want.
Think. I don't know if I'll have a better answer. Now that we're like, this one thought came to my mind. Do you remember when we did, it's been a Star Trek. Sid, when we had to kiss each other, I remember like we were already friends by then, and it was like, oh no, now we know each other. It's weird.
It's true. I know. We had to talk about it a lot.
I know, right? And then, well, not that it was bad. Well, the non knows, but but I can't remember if I fell off the bed or if you fell off the bed. I mean, they're like impossibly small Star Trek beds where it's not even comfortable for one person.
Yeah, I fell off the bed.
You fell off the bed.
Laughed. Yeah, it was the most romantic thing I could have done at the moment.
So romantic. And then they were like, we have to do it again. You guys are doing this on purpose. And we're like, no, we're not.
See, actors have to have these discussions about because they often have to kiss each other or something intimate. And you have to go.
It's just so funny. Terry, you do that. You do that to directors, don't you? You know, I remember working with you and Michael. And all you had to do was kiss to end the scene, and you guys wouldn't kiss.
I agree. I think you bring this up every time, but you know what? It turns around being all about you, Andy.
No, but I wasn't going to mention it until you brought this one up. I never was going to mention it again, and I never will again.
Never will again. Oh my gosh! But I don't even remember this moment. Why wouldn't Michael and I just kiss then? That's so weird.
I don't know. Maybe I only remember
giving you a hard time.
No, because I got my ass kicked by the powers that be.
Oh.
Yeah, because I mean, Iris says it's a love story. It's a love story. People kiss at the end of a love story. I said, well, it's a different kind of love story.
Well, if you know, it was probably Michael.
It always is Michael.
Because usually I do exactly what they tell me to do if it's written down.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of getting in trouble, but Michael would be the one who'd wait till the lighting was done and everything, and then he'd say, I don't think I believe this part. And you're like, oh my God, we already rehearsed it. And now what? Now we're having a conversation about it. Do you guys remember that? That's not just me, is it?
Do you remember Michael?
No, I agree. I totally.
Yeah. Thank you. With Michael Dorn.
Rehearsing scenes, and he would sometimes just go, what's that smell? Oh, it's the script.
So bad. So bad.
He came from Next Generation, and they had fun on the set, and we didn't. We did not.
We did not.
He arrived and we were exhausted.
That's true.
Oh, wow. Armin, how about you?
Well, I've been thinking about it while everyone's been talking. If memory is about what comes to mind right away, then I will say my most memorable performance is one that Andy directed me in, which was The Birthday Party by Harold Pinter, which was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Wow.
And it was my first experience with Andy, who was a phenomenal director, not only in TV, but has won all sorts of awards for his directing on stage. This was a stage production, and it was a great part. I was honored to be in it, and Andy's direction was superb. I think you won some award for it, didn't you? For The Birthday Party?
Yeah, I did.
Armin, what part did you play in it?
I played a man named Goldberg, who was perhaps a tiny bit similar to Quark, but much, much more aggressively evil, but at the same time, but also aggressively charming. Yes. One of the things that I played in that character that Andy helped me with was to be perhaps as charming as I possibly could be, and the audience only thought that was more icky. And it worked beautifully for that particular.
It was fabulous, Armin. It was fabulous. It really was.
That is one of my favorite plays. So
great.
I would have loved to have seen that. So awesome, very awesome. So Nana, how about you?
It was quite incredible to be in Chicago on Broadway and to play Roxy Hart. That was it was a great time, really great time.
I saw you do that show 15 times.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Did you really?
My God, that's
Absolutely.
love.
I loved it every time.
That is.
Every time.
Now, which house were you in? Which theater were you in?
Schubert.
The Schubert.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
pretty great. Yeah, great little
Amazing.
house.
I saw it too, Nana. You were phenomenal. Just
Thank you so much,
electric.
Chase. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great show. My God, it's such a great show. It was a wonderful time, and and also very empowering for older women. Very, it's just terrific for that. So that I felt so lucky to be able to do that.
Do you remember doing it in Washington, D.C.?
That was incredible.
And we went to dinner after you went. You said, with the show finished, and you said, "I really feel like oysters." And so we went, as actresses get to do, to a local oyster restaurant. And when you walked in, like a movie, people got up and clapped you because they'd been to see the show.
I don't remember that.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember that.
I
I remember
So
drinking
classic.
champagne with you, but I don't remember that. Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
Take it in now. You need to take it in now, Nana.
Taking it, it's going in. It's going
Take
in.
it in.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful.
You see?
Andrew, how about you?
Well, I'm going to go with what Armin said about the first thing that pops into your mind, and this being the most memorable performance. The first thing that popped in my mind when I was a kid, I went to this really cheap movie house to see Singing in the Rain. And I was so blown away by it. I came out of the thing, and I was about 10 years old, and I was actually singing and trying to dance and stuff like that. And before I knew it, these two bigger kids grabbed me and threw me down an alley, and they started beating the hell out of me. And it was so shocking. And then I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? These guys are going to kill me. And so I pretended I went crazy. And so I started going crazy and speaking, I guess, in kind of a version of tongues.
Wow.
And there were ash cans throwing around, and I scared them away. And that was my first memorable performance.
Wow.
It's true.
Wow, it's right.
Wow.
I absolutely concur. I've diffused situations. Some road rage guy came at me a couple of years ago, honked his horn, following me, and I diffused it by acting very juvenile, not doing the bird or anything. I was like, I was literally doing cartoon faces and stuff, and then the guy did not know how to process it, and he drove away. So yeah,
Exactly.
it really is. There really is. If you go low,
and also that's so true, Patty, because
You
people
go
who are
low.
into that kind of violence there's a very literal mindedness about that kind of violence.
Yeah.
And if you throw them off that literal track that they're on, it's like it truly does cross their brains.
yeah, it does not compute, and they kind of shamble away.
That's it.
Absolutely.
You know it.
It is
Scary.
So Chase, how about you?
Well, I gotta tell you, it's pretty hard to follow Andy speaking in tongues and Broadway and Pinter and Terry and Sid falling off a bed. I mean,
I think ours is the easiest one, Kate.
that's
Me and Sid, yeah.
I'm sure they want to hear more about that one than anything. But I did a TED talk in Vienna, Austria last year, and it was about my own hero's journey through incredible depression and pain after a horrifying stalking incident that the ramifications of which went on for many years. And it talks about my going from there to mentoring ex-gang members at Homeboy Industries and learning about other cultures and empathy and how we are all exactly the same and how we all need the same things and how most of us won the birth lottery and some of us didn't. And it talks about my understanding of the issue of bullying and how bullying is the same, whether it's gang membership or terrorism or office bullying or war, and how we truly need the dynamics of Star Trek, the understandings that Roddenberry laid down of IDIC, and it talks about all of that, and then it talks about my founding the coalition. But halfway through the talk, my slides went out. I was the first speaker, and there were 1,300 people in this audience. And my slides went out, and I still had about 12 more minutes of my talk left. And so while they fixed the slides, I riffed basically in front of 1,300 people on this very vulnerable subject. And I got to tell all of the rest of the stories about Homeboy and the kids that stole my heart there, and how much we are all alike and just born in different places and having different experiences, and how much each life matters, and how we all get to be a part of stopping this chronic cycle of hopelessness.
Yeah. You know, Chase, I think that a TED Talk on that subject kind of trumps, hate the word, but all that jazz. I'm pretty sure. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
And I saw it. Chase, I saw it. I remember tweeting about seeing it, and you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
It was just so, wow. You were so authentic, and it was so heartfelt, and it was amazing. You made me feel like I was there. You did a really good job.
That means the world to me, Terry. Thank you.
It's so true, really. And God, Nana's right. TED Talk. It's like, what?
Gee.
We all have our different ways of impacting the world, and I think that's what's so beautiful about all of us together doing all of these things that matter and that speak to audiences in different ways. And it's it is the foremost reason I'm grateful to have been on this show, because it is such an incredible platform for justice and for things that matter. Mm-hmm. And it's taught me so much, and you guys and the whole Trek community have taught me so much about this subject. So it was really beautiful to be able to bring all that I've learned and the empowerment from all of this experience into this real world subject.
And you put it into action. That's, you didn't just talk about it, you put it into action. Good, you created it. Good for you. That's huge.
Thank you. It was post-traumatic growth, and we've all been through trauma and on different levels, different things. And it is wonderful to know that you can come out of it. And I think that would be my main thing to say. If people out there are going through difficult things, you can make it out. You're strong, So this talk is it's called How to Be More Powerful Than You Can Possibly Imagine. And I'm grateful that we all get to do that.
Yeah. One day at a time.
Bravo, Jay. Bravo.